Welcome to episode 265 of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today doing a recap of our overtime loss against the New Orleans Saints. What a game, back and forth. It obviously went to overtime, so it came down to a close call where we lost by a field goal. Yeah, a lot of thoughts, but I'm interested to get to the film. So, anyway, today I did something that I'm gonna just try out where I kind of charted the possessions. And I might have missed a few things here or there, but for the most part, I think I got it pretty well. So we'll just go through that and, we'll talk about it. So starting with the offense, well, I'll just say this actually before that. Overall, as far as the game, I think it was definitely a bend don't break type of game, which we typically get into where the defense can give up some yards, and then we have to hold our ground to not allow them to score. And then the offense really every first down just increases, I feel like, our chance of winning. Obviously, we had some big plays that we don't typically have, which was nice. But overall, the offense kind of settled down to the same thing that it usually is, which is a unit that has mistakes, a lot of mental errors, and then also just the overall lack of talent on the offensive line and all that. Not to mention the play calling and everything. So anyway, let's go through. So offense, first drive, we had 3 first downs. My note, I put Montgomery saved it. He had a nice run, I remember, that pretty much was dead, but he cut it back and through his effort on most of the runs, he was able to gain yards. And not a lot of people did, but if you actually are into the actual football of it and not just talking, you watched the film and you saw the run game where I said that even though Montgomery contributes to the issues, I do believe that he has immense talent and the ability to create was shown there. So again, 3 first downs, that's good, especially for our first drive where we tend to like to go 3 and out. But we were able to get a field goal. Second drive, we had 2 first downs. Technically, technically the touchdown I counted as a first down, but we scored that touchdown. So obviously we had the big play over 50 yards to Mooney, which was a rare vertical shot that we took. And then we had another explosive play to Robinson again. So Mooney I counted as a first down, and then the one to Robinson technically is a first down because, how far we went. So then after that, 3 and out, I put bad plays, just the plays we went, too short, not really, attacking the sticks, and just overall not a good play selection. Then the next drive, we had 1 first down. Montgomery was the one that got that first down. He, had the big run up the middle. Which was nice. Again, like I talked about with the Rams didn't just jet sweep. Like, you didn't just bring in people and then jet sweep. You had 2 to 3 counters off the jet sweep. And that was a nice, change up at least, from bringing Montgomery in, even though technically we ran that same play twice when he comes in. But the thing is, when you bring in Cordell Patterson, you want to be able to do different things off of that and not, because otherwise, as you saw, people are playing the perimeters. They know you're not going to go up the gut. And so that was a nice change up off of that. But now you can't keep doing that where you line Montgomery up at fullback and not expect people to figure it out. So you got to be able to have a different offshoot of that. But that one hit big. But then the offense kind of stalled in the red zone. We were held to a field goal. Next drive, we got 1 first down. We had a delay of game. We had a delay of game on 3rd down where, again, just not getting the play in. I know there were some helmet issues, but really just not getting lined up, not taking the time out. That took us too far back. We don't convert big plays too often, so we ended up punting. The next drive, Wims was an idiot, 100% an idiot. We'll get to that later. No first downs, and then there ended up being an interception. And to me, I think it was just Graham and Foles being not off target, but they weren't on the same page. Then we had a 3-and-out. The next drive after that, we had a 1 first down, turnover on downs. We tried to go for it on 4th. After that, we had 5 first downs. This is where we were hitting some good plays. Then we had the flag in the end zone that put us on the 1-yard line. And then we had a touchdown to Mooney, which was on the 3rd down, which was the result of kind of a nice rub play in man coverage. I never understand why they play man coverage in the red zone at a bunch. I never get it. After that, we had 2 first downs. So Komet fumbled that ball. I really not sure how they didn't call that. That would have been the game, but they ended up giving us a break. So instead of the game being over, we were able to continue to drive. We got another first down with Miller. And then we ended up with a field goal. And then in overtime, we couldn't get anything and we ended up punting. So overall, as far as the offense, I would give them a C. I give them a C. I think definitely you can point out those explosion plays, which we don't typically get. And that's the thing. It's not that you can't be a offense that is ball control. It's that you can't be an offense that's ball control and never have big plays. It's not that you can't be a defense that's bend but don't break. It's that you can't be a defense that's bend but don't break and never have turnovers. So even if we executed our game perfectly, where we are moving the ball and getting first downs but field goals, you're not going to win a whole bunch of games like that because you have to have explosive plays that's going to make the defense back up. And same thing on defense. So I think, I would say it's a lot because I think Spriggs came in and his feet are better. I don't think he's much better than Massey, but his feet are definitely much better than Massey. And it's not that every play he was great against pass rush, but he was much better than I think Massey would have been. And I think we had more time than we usually would. Obviously, there was that scare where Coward could have been the right tackle. That would have been a disaster. But again, you got Spriggs in, you got Mustaford in, you got Coward in. And it was better than expected. And I think just not having to worry about that backside on certain plays helped. Not to say that you have to worry about it, but it wasn't as bad with Massey. And I honestly do think Spriggs did a better job, but we'll see when we get to the film. But other than that, it's the same issues, with the offensive line speeding up Foles' clock. Whether that's the run game never really getting going despite that one big play. But again, I think you look at the big play to Mooney, the big play by Montgomery, the big play to Robinson. And it was a couple big plays in that that late drive when we had 5 first downs. That's the stuff that keeps us going. Cause again, we eat clock. If we eat clock and ball control, we can't be a ball control offense if we don't have good time of possession. And I think a lot of the plays tonight helped with that. And not to say that it was perfect tonight, but those are the things we've been missing. All right, so going to defense. First drive, bend but don't break. Again, letting them drive. They gave up a field goal. The second one, they had the angle route with Kamara. Mack was in coverage. While I do think Matt can do some things at linebacker, but that's just not where he's been at. It's not his natural position. That's not what you had him repping. Whenever he's in coverage, he looks awkward to me and bad. And it was evidence there where he should have been in a hook. Either him or Gibson. Honestly, I don't know the call, but both of them were sitting in the flats. One of them should have been in the hook. And that's exactly where they went. And on that angle route, and Kamara hit it big. But we held them, and then they ended up missing the field goal. The next drive, they had a 3-and-out. After that, they had a 4th-down conversion. And then there was a bad flag on Fuller. Now, don't get me wrong. They were moving. I still think they would have moved the ball. But they had a bad flag where they called Fuller for interference, and he barely touched him. That one I would say was a bad flag. And then they gave up a touchdown on the same play back-to-back. Like, they ran a play to Cook. The play was, or the throw was behind him. But it was clear, it was like a post. It was so it was like a slant concept where you run 2 slants on the outside, 2 flats in the inside. They do that, but it's post flats. So you ran post, skinny post, and then flats. They did that on the right side. Ball was behind them, and obviously the middle of the field was open because the linebackers weren't there. They vacated to the flats, and it was open over the middle. They did the same thing to the left side right after that for a touchdown. So that doesn't feel good. After that, they had a real nice punt return, but it ended up being a 3-and-out. We held them to a field goal, and that's what tied the game up. After that, they got a 4th-down conversion on that drive and was able to drive to get a field goal. After that, they had a turnover on downs where we stopped them on that 4th down. They tried to toss, and which is weird to run to the perimeter because that's where we're the best at. You should have ran up in the middle against us. And then after that, they had a touchdown that brought them back into the game. And Breeze just kind of had all day to throw on that one. And then in overtime, they had a 3-and-out that they ended up punting. But then once they got the ball back, they were able to get close enough for the field goal. So overall, as far as the defense, I would give them a B-. I think that the defense early on was doing what we typically do and I've said this before, we are a team that the first level has to make the plays. Because if it gets to the second level, Roquan's not making the play on the run. It's just not happening. And then the third levels, they're not hitters either. And so we have to make the play on the first level. And I don't think we were doing that. And overall, all game, I just felt like it was weird how much John Jenkins and Mingo was in. And I get it. We've been heavy rotating this year. I don't know if something's wrong with Quinn and Mac or what, but we heavy rotate. Walters, Mingo, they play a lot. Obviously, Urban, Jenkins, Edwards. But I think Edwards has been much more disruptive, much better off the ball, much better off blocks than John Jenkins. So I just would have liked to see Edwards in there more with Bilal Nichols and Akeem Hicks. But again, early on, we just really could not get it together. And then in the second half, I feel like the first level really did their job as far as slowing the run down, which made them a little more predictable while going through the air. But obviously, the offense was still able to do their thing. The biggest thing that's always going to continue is the lack of pass rush, especially against this team. Really good offensive line. There's definitely some plays we made against Breeze. And again, when the coverage does their thing, we can do that. But overall, I think when we got into those tough spots, that's when you gave Breeze time to throw. And that's indicative of what happened in those later drives where they were able to pretty much end up winning the game there. So I think we got much more resilient in the second half. We started to lock it down a lot more, but there's still some mistakes. And then again, we can be bend but don't break. But if we aren't getting those turnovers, it's just tougher to win, especially with the offense playing the way it did. So overall, to me, it was a good game. It was definitely something I didn't expect. You didn't expect those explosion plays, but I think that's something that I would like to see. I would like to see us at least test it when you got the matchup. Again, there's so much speculation. But the talking media, ESPN, Fox, even NFL.com, we aren't there. I don't know what control Foles has at the line. I don't know what the audibles are and all that. But I think when we get into these matchups, it would be nice to see us test people vertically a little more than we have been. And it's not to say that Foles is great at it or anything. I do think we have good receivers, but it would at least give us a chance to see. And then it would give the defense something to think about. Because if the defense doesn't have to think about that, they're going to sit underneath your routes, and then they're going to also play the run heavy. And so that's all part of the chess game. You would like to see us at least, not just saying just bomb it, but at least choreograph some shots, whether it's a long or middle of the field crosser, whether it's a skinny post out of the play action when you got a deuce close or whatever it is. Just it would be nice to see us at least take some more risk, because we don't get much reward with what we do. And so sometimes you got to do that. And honestly, even though we lost, we wouldn't been anywhere near in the game if we didn't take those chances. So that's something I would like to see. Spriggs might be a better option than Massey. I'm not sure. We'll go to the tape, but that's something to think about. And then just letting Montgomery go, man. I know it's not going to be great, but just let him go, because he's going to be able to create, even though if he's not always great, the offensive line is rarely great, but just let him continue to try to bring a little balance to the offense. And we know that that's been a call for a long time. And when you get behind, it's easy to fall out of that. But I just think it was a good collaborative effort where the defense kept us in the game, so it allowed the offense to be a little more methodical, even though it didn't work out. So anyway, I have a lot of thoughts about this game, but I'll wait for the film. But go to the comment section. Sure, the talking heads got a lot to say about this. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.